Just after midnight, a convoy of 3 military trucks rumbles through empty streets and comes to a halt in Tammannstraße in front of the Georg August Faculty of Physics of the Göttingen University. Uniformed men, patches on their shoulders showing the crowned eagle with swords, the insignia of Abteilung IIIb, the Imperial Military Intelligence, begin unloading wooden crates and carry them inside. They are welcomed by Dr. Edward Teller and his team of scientists, who eagerly begin unloading various documents written in French, as well as curious pieces of debris and machinery. As soon as the cargo has been processed and signed over, the ranking officer hands a sealed brown envelope to his lieutenant. "I need to report to the Admiral. He has requested to be updated on the mission progress in person. Meet me at HQ in Berlin on the 15th and get the men ready for deployment to Norway. There's a suspected Syndicalist site they want us to secure. I don't have to remind you that this stuff is top secret, so no outside contact after briefing. This could change the course of the whole war." After more than 3 decades, one of Germany's most ambitious and controversial building projects has finally reached its completion. The last connection piece between Aller and Elbe finished, the Mittelland Canal, Europe's longest artificial inland waterway connection, is open for traffic. Ships loaded with coal and iron in the Ruhr can now reach the industrial centers in Hanover, Brunswick, Brandenburg and Saxony without large detours via the North Sea, and even have access to the faraway markets in East Elbe. Even though most of the public, including the conservatives, rejoiced with the completion of this prestige project, this most certainly wasn't always the case. Back in 1899, when construction efforts were initiated by Kaiser Wilhelm II himself, the canal was harshly opposed by the East Elbian Junker elite, who feared that connection between Rhine and Elbe would flood rural Prussia with cheap imported grain. Well, we've done away with these people. Resistance by DKP and the Agrarian League in the Prussian Landtag was so overwhelming that the Kaiser had to drop his ambitious plans for the time being. The resistance of these so-called canal rebellen, was one of the first precedents of conservative opposition to the plans of Kaiser and government. But now, of course, all these particularist hardcore protectionists have long passed away and have been replaced by a generation of younger, more compromising conservatives. But nonetheless, it is interesting to see how drastically the stance of a selected political party on a certain topic can change over time. Well, I would say it's not just the political party, but it is the overall political climate in which particularist and narrow interests have to stand back in the face of von Schleicher's overarching goals. In the light of recent discoveries of syndicalist developments of a potential war-changing weapon, Germany has to play a bit of catch-up, and one of the teams is on their way to Norway, round about here-ish, I believe, to secure another former syndicalist site that we had some intelligence about. Fortunately, syndicalism in Europe has all been defeated, except for small holdouts of sorts. But syndicalism in the United States is still up and running. So I'm thinking that there is a potential, and Mexico obviously is syndicalist as well. So I am thinking that there is still a danger of this kind of technology coming up in the wrong hands, and as such, we're going to have to put a little bit of political effort behind the whole thing and work towards establishing the Uranverein, the Uranium Union. In order to do that, we've got to get past a couple of things that we don't actually need, like the rocket artillery. But the Heeresversuchsanstalt in Peenemünde, the Army Experimental Division in Peenemünde, will actually make a lot more sense. So let's get through these and work towards some more experimental technologies. We do have some free dockyards, so let's have a quick look at the Navy, shall we? Looking at the overall state of the Navy, the two main battle groups are actually in reasonably decent shape at this point. We've got the first with 6 battleships, 2 carriers, and a total of 35 escorts, which is a good ratio. We've got the third currently with what do we have? 4 battleships, 2 carriers, and 29 escorts, which is a pretty good ratio as well. So I think we can sort of slowly dial down the mass production of destroyers and start focusing on a couple of other things. So for once, I think it's a good time to think about maybe a battle cruiser and see if that still happens in time for the conflict. But if we're looking at our 2 main opponents, the Americans have somewhere around 12 to 16 battleships. There is a very large, they're very light on carriers, but they have a large number of capital ships and a large number of light cruisers as well. So a very substantial navy there in the Americas. And the Japanese have more of a carrier focus, but also have a very substantial number of capital ships, as well as light and heavy cruisers. So with all that said, I think getting another couple of cruisers plus maybe a couple of battle cruisers or battleships for the main line designed, rather than the free running hunter groups that we were discussing earlier. I think the necessity for that has sort of been removed with. I think the Entente, I'm not sure how much the Entente Navy still has, but I don't think it's an awful lot. Yeah, the New England Navy is pretty much down. The Canadians do have a large number of destroyers still, but other than that, they still have 6 battleships and 3 battle cruisers. So there's still substantial numbers of capital ships actually active, where I think at this point we're probably better off reinforcing our battle lines and getting some more firepower behind. So let's take a look what we can do about this and pick up some older design ideas maybe. So if we are talking about a capital ship, we could try to build another dreadnought, but it's going to take forever. So I think if we were to try and build another Elsass class, this is going to take a very long time. Let's have a very quick look and what that would look like. That would be over 2 years to build another Elsass. So even if we prioritize that, so we actually get the materials. September 1944, so very long time. See if we can get something constructed in the meantime that can still fulfill the role. The other thing we could do is build another couple of the Graf Zeppelins. How are we on? Most of the research is not close to completion. How are we on carrier hulls? We haven't actually researched the advanced carrier hulls, so we are sort of stuck with the Graf Zeppelins. However, these things are reasonably quick to build. They cost under 10,000. They have a construction cost of just under 10,000, which is less than what the large capitals are costing. So getting another pair of carriers, because right now we only have 4 carriers, so getting another pair of carriers might not be a bad decision. So let's get, actually before we do that, let's see if we can, these things need any refits. So the Graf Zeppelin class, no, we don't have a military industrial, so they don't get any benefits out of the whole thing. And all we can do, I think, is increase the anti-air. We don't necessarily need to give these things armor, but and radar would slightly improve the AA, but I think the production cost is probably not worth the effort. So the Graf Zeppelin class A, there we go, with slightly improved AA is a good choice here. So let's get 2 of those scheduled, and it's another one, Graf Zeppelin A. We do need to build them in parallel, otherwise we'll never get anywhere. So that's 2, and we still have. I can reduce the amount of destroyers here. So if we're stopping 2 destroyer lines and instead building a few more of the mass class of light cruisers, because we are a little short on these. We can upgrade them with the latest, and of course I forgot to copy that. There we go. upgrade them to the latest, and that is the mass class A. Save that for 5, and then we get where are we? Light cruisers, mass class A. Let's get these. Let's get 2 of these constructed, and number 2. There we go. And the 2 destroyer lines that'll finish up will flow into that. But let's see if we can also get an actual capital ship going. So we do have the advanced heavy hull, which would be a more modern battleship than the somewhat outdated Tirpitz B at this point. However, we do have she does have to sort of keep up with the carrier, so we'll see what that looks like. We'll start out with the engines. How fast are the carriers going? Well, if they're mixed in with technically if they're mixed in with the battle fleet, it doesn't matter because we're not going to send them alone. So the 27 knots is probably just going to be the target, so at least they can keep up with the Tirpitz, because I'm not refitting the engines on these things because that also takes forever. So let's begin with the heavy engines, and we'll look at the armor later. We still don't have massively improved secondaries, unfortunately, but that's the best we have. Fire control 2 is what we've got, and at some point you just have to not wait for the latest technology. Radar can go in, definitely AA, and we do want to use the 460mm guns. So let's see how many turrets we can get into these things, because this is battle line, so 3 turrets is kind of what I'm thinking. We've got 2 forward 460mm batteries and 1 rear, not anti-air. There we go, 1 rear. Okay, that leaves us a little bit of space, and let's compare that to the Tirpitz B. Still faster, but we haven't put the armor in yet. Let's do that actually. We could go for battleship armor, which goes the production cost up to 13,000, or battle cruiser armor, which basically does not increase, which we already have, which does not massively make a difference. It's 5%, so I think the additional armor there might be warranted. But then again, we are looking at production time as well, and as such, the battle cruiser armor might actually be the better choice here, just to make sure that we can actually at some point finish these ships. So with that set up, we've got a battery of 150mm secondaries. We've got some 88s for AA, and we do have better armor and significantly better firepower than on the Tirpitz. Better piercing as well, but we might need a bit more on the secondary, so let's throw another 150mm secondary battery in there. And with that, let's see what we can. German mythology, that would be not the Odin, the Wotan class of battleship. So with the upgrades in, that is of the Wilhelmshaven Werft, that is a 13,000, still not as expensive as the Elsass, but it's probably going to come in, if I had to guess, late 1943. So we'll roll with that. And just checking if the battleship armor, it's not a huge difference, honestly, in terms of production costs. We get the armor up to 48, which means she would be protected against her own guns, because piercing 44. Which is generally a good design principle. However, again, time to actually get these ships into production takes quite a while. I'm going to stick with the battle cruiser. She does go 26.8, which is slightly under the Tirpitz, I think, but she does have the heavier armament, so that the 346 mils are making a difference there. She does not quite have the same amount of secondary firepower, however, but is more focused on the actual. And we've got 330mm belt. Yeah, Right, it's gonna take like a week longer or something. Let's go with the battleship armor, and we've got the Wotans, 51 Navy XP, and they will be fitting right in. So we will be building a pair of these as well, and there's another one gone. Okay, so we will be building 2 of these. We'll be building 2 of the Mars class, and we will be reducing. 3 destroyer lines for that. How many destroyer lines do we actually still have? Thunder class, we've got 1, 2, 3. Okay, these two are already going out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So if we put another one out, that'll be 2 filled plus the third. Yeah, I think that's a good mix for a naval improvement. So we're going to be rolling with that. And as soon as the destroyers are finished, then the dockyards will fall through and be used. All right, let's get back to the action on the ground, where I think we were looking at a general offensive in the east, plus we are working our way towards Helsinki as well. So von Mackensen is attacking Helsinki right now, and I think before we start the Generaloffensive Ost, I'm going to manually manage the retaking of the Baltic Duchy. However, we'll have a couple of other things to check. The lines against the French somewhat stabilized. I don't want to let these troops run by themselves. We are waiting for some reinforcements. First ones are coming in. So we are seeing some reinforcements here, but I think there's still a few more coming. So these can wait for the time being. The India position here, we have taken the airport, but again, I do have to manually manage this front line. I think we will be pushing along the coastline, so let's make sure we're concentrating all the assault infantry, or most of the assault infantry there. I've got a couple more that I can bring along, and just let the rest. Yeah, I think we'll. I think we can actually change this somewhat. What is the situation here? We can run a further assault from Mandalay. Actually, it's all river crossings. It's less than ideal, but we could run an assault from Mandalay once. Are we improving the railways? I think we need to improve the railways here, such that we get sufficient supply in Mandalay. Because right now it is not sufficient, but I think we are. Yeah, we are building up the railways. Okay, so that's good. So there's still these all need to be prioritized. Okay, and you can be deprioritized. All right, everything's under construction. Yes, good. So railways need to be completed, and then we can make a further push into India. So we'll leave that as it is for now as well. And Papua New Guinea, there we are waiting for the construction of the of a forward naval base in order to provide additional supply for the attack on Port Moresby, and I think we'll just be holding there as well. All right, cool. So we are all caught up, and I think we can manage the northern flank here by hand for now, and then we'll start the general offensive. So here the key is to push the fleeing Russians back to Narva and cut them all off. So let's make sure that happens. Do we have air support here? We do not, I believe. We can. There's no enemy. There's no more enemy fighter activity. We do have friendly support planes. Yeah. So from the southern neighbors, from our southern neighbors. So they are still trying to curry favor. But yeah, we can cut off the Russian troops here. Let's make sure they're not getting a chance to reorganize themselves, and we'll get everybody to move. Von Mackensen is pushing towards Helsinki with his newly assembled half-track divisions. And with the support from the Luftwaffe, is blasting through, despite the fact that armored units are generally not the best in urban environments, but the half-trucks with the mounted guns are actually quite successful in that. And I think we are about to take Helsinki. So von Mackensen's first success. New England and, oh, this is interesting. New England and has surrendered in a way, by the looks of it. They have signed peace with us. I was not involved in that decision. So this must be, once again, some backdoor action by German diplomats. We've already had trouble during the invasion of France, where they had other ideas and gave some very weird concessions to the Spanish. So the Commune and us have made peace with New England. New England being obviously part of the used to be part of the Entente. Apparently they no longer are. Also, New England, after losing, maybe that was the backhanded deal that was done. So New England has left the Entente, and in return we have agreed to a peace deal. Interesting that. Sweden still attacking in the north, and von Mackensen is about to take Helsinki. But we have Dornier once more improved. I don't think there's an awful lot that we can still do here. And this is only for transport planes, only for medium planes. So we'll do this one. Done. We'll update the designs later. The Trans-Amur Republic. These are the Eastern Russian. Yeah, I do not see why we should be on friendly terms over there. I think a non-aggression pact is too much of a friendly move there. Interestingly enough, there's an extremely powerful Russian division here that we're dealing with. They're very, very heavily armed, especially with heavy equipment. So the Russians have some very powerful divisions. Generally, the problem with Russia is not so much that to defeat them, it's to defeat all the reinforcements, because they always can send more. Okay, but Helsinki is about to fall, and we have now cut off the Russian divisions in the western part of the Baltic Duchy. So let's see if we can make our way through here towards Narva, and the Russians are pushing back quite aggressively here now. Retaking Narva and securing the line is kind of the primary goal at this point. Let's get the northern divisions aligned accordingly. And we have the Germania Werft, which we are using for, I believe, screens mostly. What can we still do here? 5% surface detection, light attack. Are we through here already? No. Surface visibility heavy. We're not using them for heavy attacks, I think. But this is also mutually exclusive, so we can't go there. We've done this tree. This one we've already done. So I think we don't really have an option here. We can only go through heavy attack here. So no one's using that. So that's a no-brainer in that regard. All right. The divisions in the north. Okay, Helsinki has fallen. Does that mean how far is Finland still from capitulation? Let's see. Finland. Will the Finns capitulate? That would be in the Moscow Accord. There they are. Far from it. So Finland is resilient, and they're still holding Vasa, with an immediate counterattack against von Mackensen's troops by determined Russian divisions, but I doubt that they will have a chance to make much happen. However, I think we don't really have the troops here now, despite the fact that von Mackensen is there. We don't have the troops right now to significantly reinforce that. We do, however, have some marine divisions that are not otherwise occupied. So right now, I think we've got 2 marine divisions already ready for this invasion. So that can be given the go-ahead. So let's begin that and clear out the island positions there. But I think von Mackensen now has to probably just going to defend at this point. And there is we might have to see if we are going to be able to give him some reinforcements. All right, Marines are landing. Finnish defenders are well entrenched, but with some naval gunfire support, we should be able to make that happen. We are not producing tactical bombers, and that might be due to the equipment tag, I believe. Unfortunately, have I missed this? Where was the tactical bomber? The Dorniers, right? Yeah, they don't have the equipment tag, so we seem to have. Okay, I might have to change that and get some of them going. Okay, everything's been updated in the air, so we can get back to operations on the ground, where I think the fortress of Narva is relatively well fortified. So we may actually wait that one out, but I think we might need some Marines to help clear out the positions here. So let's get the Marine divisions that are currently in training. No, they'll finish training, but once the Marines in the islands here are finished, we can send them south. It looks like lines will probably stabilize here at this point. I'm just going to I'm going to leave the Baltic Duchy troops to their own devices here, and see if they can retake Narva. But I could divert some tank divisions, but I have other plans. So we'll leave them to it. Maybe we can clear this out some other point. Finland would need reinforcements to make something happen here. And I think it is a better use of our time to push towards Moscow. So there is a potential encirclement here that we can go for. We've got von Kluge's tank divisions in the south, and he can push towards Kursk. And we've got Guderian's tanks in the north. Clear out again the center line, or we can just get Guderian to start pushing towards Moscow, and von Kluge just to clear out the rear. I think that is probably the better option. So let's give a general assault order. So we'll begin with General von Manstein. Let's see if anybody actually can get anything useful. Von Küchler on the Western Front can get the offensive doctrine, and he can have the reinforce organization first. There we go. That's that. And then we'll have to wait for command power. So 9th Army under von Manstein is going to be given the general assault orders, and on its own, obviously he wouldn't be succeeding, but he will not be on his own. So von Manstein attack. Then we've got the northern flank under General von Leeb, and their general attack will be launched as well. And we've got, and they'll obviously be managing the panzer divisions here by hand. So let's see what the supply lines are. Yeah, Bryansk is the next position we need to take. However, that is going to, I think, be across the river, and there are heavy defenses in Bryansk. I think the better choice here is to get von Kluge to come in from the south with his tanks, and see if he can cut through the southern region here towards Kursk, and then what's the supply in the south? We can take Kursk first and then support the Bryansk attack from there, and I think that is a good option. So he will take Kursk, and we are going to obviously support that with attacks along the lines here, break through and towards Kursk. Okay. So von Kluge is on the roll again. The panzers are on the march and breaking through. We have decrypted the cipher, and I think I'm going to use that because we are actually running a general offensive at this point. So we are going to activate active decryption bonuses. There are passive decryption bonuses, I think, but we are going to activate the active bonuses for 30 days, and we can then, in 30 days we can start again on the Russian cipher once they have figured out what we're up to here. Okay, but for now, breakthrough along the lines, and we will see that we can take Kursk. Belgorod has fallen, and I think Kursk will be next. And then once we have taken Kursk, from there we can push north towards Orel, and then fall into the back of Bryansk, where Ukrainians are starting attacks. But that really is nothing out of the ordinary at this point. A very interesting mention was made in the comments recently about the attack of the Ukrainians. That it is somewhat of a political ploy, where the Ukrainian leadership seeks to get rid of politically inopportune people, and that they are running the attacks for that reason. All right, tanks have completely broken through the lines of near Kursk. We'll just expand the range a little bit in the east. General offensive is crossing the river near Vitebsk, and divisions are pushing forward. There we are. The southern wing of von Kluge's offensive here is still on the way, but we are about to take Orel. And this is where we are going to be defending for now. Slight counterattack from the completely surprised Russians. We've got the 6th Panzer Division clearing out the eastern side, and we've got heavy bombardment coming in from the flanks and from the air. And the infantry is assisting with catching up, but we are, since we still have supply, 4th and 5th can swing around and encircle the Russians from here. Let's see if we can manage to break through in time. We do have to be somewhat careful with reinforcements here and make sure that we're not getting cut off. But I think the breach of the front lines is wide enough at this stage that there is no danger of that. We just have to connect the supply lines all the way up to Orel before we can run the full offensive here in the north. We got 2 tank divisions that can actually assist with pushing towards the river line already, and box the Russians in from there. We've got additional panzers. The 4th and 5th are defeating the counterattack. The 2nd is going to probably have to take a break. The Russians are trying to move troops out of the encirclement. So I think at this point Bryansk is almost empty. So we can get Guderian's tanks on the move now, despite the fact that they do have to cross the bridges near Bryansk. The 2nd Panzer and the 4th and the 5th are almost in position to help exploiting that from the other side. Russian encirclements near Dvinsk, and it looks like we might need to reinforce the positions here a little bit north of Helsinki, where furious Finnish counterattacks are trying to retake and to push von Mackensen out and retake positions. But we are on the move, and we are about to close the cauldron near Bryansk, where we are sending now the infantry in as well. Guderian's tanks are pushing across the river lines, and I think. Which one is it? The 4th Panzer has run out of steam, but we still have the 5th, which can push against these Russian defenses. But it looks like the tank divisions at this point are at the limit of their possible range and possible endurance, which means that we can deal with this encirclement in the south here, while we have the divisions available, and just destroy the Russian positions piecemeal, and send reinforcements in north. We haven't taken Bryansk yet, but we do have we can try an attack from the south. The 1st Panzer, the most experienced of the divisions here, can assist with the southern attack on Bryansk. so we should be able to get through there. Luftwaffe helps out, and see if Guderian can make it across the bridges towards Bryansk. General offensive in summer. Summer offensive is on the move. The target is to reach Moscow before the onset of autumn and the difficulties we are going to face back then. Let's take a very quick look at naval engagements and see if there's anything we need to worry about. West Indian Ocean is just going to be convoy attacks, Mariana Plains. We are chasing away submarines, so or at least enemy groups are chasing away our submarines. Sorry, that's what I was trying to say. So the Syndicalists are still operating in the designated areas. We knew that from before, so we will have to make a decision to launch the attack there at some point, or if we are going to go after Japan first. We have constructed port facilities, which means that the troops are now getting resupplied. They are going to, for an attack on Port Moresby, they are going to have to wait for supply to come in, and then we will be launching the assault there. However, the Marines, I think we've got 58 Army XP. We can soon while the Marines are still in training, start changing their templates. So let's finish off the Bryansk operation, and then we'll start looking into that. We do have the all the tank divisions here are reasonably exhausted, but I think if we put all three into it, we might be able to take the eastern flank of Bryansk. Now it looks like the Russians actually have significantly upgraded their divisions. So their divisions are able to punch through our armor now. Which means that these divisions probably have received anti-tank upgrades. Doesn't look like, but it's interesting to see that they can. What is their piercing value? Can we see that? Do I get that? Soft attack. Interestingly enough, I don't. Here's hard attack. Okay, relatively low hard attack, but still no information on the piercing. So it's quite interesting to see, because it could be due to lack of fuel. So it could be that the tanks are basically sitting ducks due to lack of fuel. All right, we'll abandon, because I don't see any use of anti-tank weapons. So we'll wait until Kursk is connected, which is still going to take a while, and it's up to Guderian to see if he can make the breach happen in the north, and if he can drive the defenders out of Bryansk. We do have a further infantry. We do have a further infantry advance here as well, and we might be able to, even if we can't take Bryansk, we will potentially launch a second assault, furious counterattack from the almost encircled Russians. We might be able to launch a secondary assault. The front lines need to be reorganized, but the tanks are now. The tanks should now be at least somewhat resupplied. So let's attempt another attack against the Russian lines south of Bryansk, with the support of Guderian's tanks from the other side of the embankment, and see if we can manage to encircle the Russians here. And yes, once they have received fuel, then the Russian infantry divisions are not able to deal with the panzers anymore. They just don't have the firepower to do that. Arms exports payments have stopped, and we do have some trouble with imports. So I'll actually let's complete this while we still have the 16 days. Okay, we still got Cypher active for 16 days. Let's complete the encirclement here. and see if we can assist with the infantry divisions as well, and see if we can cut off furiously resisting Russian divisions near Bryansk. We're now getting the assistance of the 1st Panzer, so the two of them are joining forces, and the rest of the tank divisions are going to be able to push north of Orel as well. And we have managed the encirclement. The Russian divisions are the Russian Central Army is cut off, and that is a huge number of Russian troops that is going to be taken captive at the Battle of Kursk. So we've got, what is this, 18 divisions roundabout. There might have been some more. This is 10, 15, no, it's more than that. We've got 6, 10, 15, 21, 22, 25 divisions. So a full Russian field army has been encircled, and I think for that we might actually need the tank divisions to. We might need the tank divisions to assist with clearing this out. So let's do that. And then we can reconsolidate the front lines, and Guderian can continue his push north. But all this strategic destruction, are enabling the infantry, the general infantry offensive that has been launched, and the gaps in the Russian lines are being actively exploited at this point because, there is literally not enough troops anymore to deal with the onslaught of the German army. All right, tanks assist with the breakthrough here. Panzer divisions move through, please, and help out with the cleanup of these operations, and then we will reconstitute the front lines, and we've almost retaken the Ukrainian territory in the south, so the 9th Army is fielding its objectives. In the north, things haven't gone quite as well, so the von Leeb's 4th is still somewhat struggling here to make significant breakthroughs, but we also have more or less cut off a lot of Russian divisions here near Pernu, so that might be an option for us to shorten the front lines and focus on trying to destroy these without letting them escape to the islands, because that's always painful. The Finnish counterattacks are from experienced Finnish divisions, are running into von Mackensen's strong defenses. So von Mackensen is just going to hold here for now. And Sweden has seen a little bit of a Finnish incursion, but is already moving into northern Russia. So I think all in all, once the encirclement is done here, we can take a little bit of a breather and get everything reorganized, and start looking at the other theaters again, where things have been a little bit more quiet recently. So all infantry divisions, please join the fight. We are going to start changing the von Kluge's motorized infantry into proper divisions, similar to what von Mackensen is currently working with. But first, let's use the troops available to deal with the encircled Russians, who are furiously resisting. Von Leeb has been wounded, okay, and New England now wants to send. No, we don't trust them. New England wants to send volunteers now. Yeah, they have changed allegiance very quickly. William von Leeb has been wounded. In bringing the battle to a successful conclusion, it seems William von Leeb has put himself a bit too much at risk while leading his men. That is very unfortunate, but this is leading from the front, really, is what that is. Okay, let's clear out the encircled Russians here, and make sure that that is a lot of them. Make sure we finish that off. The Luftwaffe, we do have some resistance now over Western Russia, so we can move the fighter wings closer and that would explain why we had trouble in the north. we can get where are the heavy fighters? Tactical bombers. We should have some heavy fighter wings in the area, from what I remember. We've got 9 fighter wings here, 2 fighter wings there. 6 fighter wing. Oh no, these are the heavy fighter wings. Okay, so they can actually stay where they are and go back to area superiority. 9 fighter wings, bring them closer, bring them to a closer airport from where we can operate. Let's see, where can we reposition them? At the front lines. That would do. Vitebsk airbase has been taken from the Russians, and they will be so fighters will engage once again after a brief delay, and with that the Russian resurgence in surprise air operations will come to an end. Tanks are moving to destroy assisting with destroying the encircled Russian troops. And once that battle is won, and there we go, first troops are surrendering near Kursk, and after that we're going to finish off the rest. First troops are surrendering near Kursk. There we go, and we can already redirect the panzer divisions to attack here. That leaves the last Russian defenders completely encircled by German armored divisions from all sides. And while they are fighting valiantly, the superiority of the German armored force here is at full visibility. All right, I think it is time that we need to take a little bit of a look around again. Okay, New England now seems to have ambitions in Puerto Rico. Very interesting development there. Not sure how long this is going to go well until the USAS is going to step in. But we do have some free civilian factories. Let's see what is the infrastructure situation in Russia, because I think that is generally the biggest problem that we're facing. Bryansk is already overloaded, so let's get the bottlenecks in Bryansk upgraded. And in the north it looks similar. We are about to take Velikie Luki, but the railways are relatively thin here, so I think if we are starting with Vitebsk, Vitebsk is relatively well connected, so it shouldn't be too bad. I think we're all good. So let's see if we can, if there's anything else we can construct at this point. I think factories are no longer. Yeah, we've got a couple of free building slots, but I am reserving them for other things. Can we build do we need a forward radar station? Might not be terrible. Let's build a radar station here. That'll give them something to do. There we go. And we have Focke-Wulf. Okay, so Focke-Wulf obviously being the fighters. Can we get? We built our fighters not out of fabric, which means we can now go down this route here, and yes, we have wind tunnel pioneers set. Okay, good. So that's going. The infantry assault is running. The resurgence of some Russian planes, with support from some Greeks actually, means that the Luftwaffe is once again up in the air and ensuring superiority. And we are in the south retaking Ukraine, which has been the target, and von Mackensen for now is holding in the north. The African front has not seen any movement, but we do have a good number of troops here now, so I think we can once again begin while we are. I'll reorganize the front lines for the next armored assault, but I think it's July. We'll still push towards Moscow. I think we got the We got the positions there, but we can also look at fighting here again and maybe finishing off Port Moresby. No, the divisions are still being reconstituted. All right, we'll focus on Russia on the Russian front for now, and reorganize the front lines a little bit, especially for the armored divisions. Okay, front lines are reorganized. So once the Russian Central Army here has been destroyed, and the thing with the Russians is there's always another Central Army once you've destroyed one. But once the group here has been destroyed, then Guderian's tanks and von Kluge's tanks are going to line up for the new objectives. Okay, let's get everybody in on the fight. Yep, we've got the tanks in now. So tanks are moving through, and then we will destroy the last remaining Russian outpost. And then that will be that. Okay, there we go. Last remaining Russian divisions are being destroyed, and they have nowhere to go. So. Despite the fact that we have actually relatively few divisions joining this, we do need to send some armored divisions around, and we get these two to go around south and then go here. Okay, so tanks will drive around. We've got 2 tank divisions pushing across the river line. Fewer and fewer Russian troops are involved here. Let's relaunch the attack from there, and the southern divisions can go around. Yeah, attack is being relaunched. Fewer and fewer Russians are actually actively fighting. Most of them are giving up, laying down their arms, surrendering, and this will be a major engagement here, where massive German forces have taken out once again a central Russian line, and the question comes down to how quickly the Russians can reinforce. And the infantry in the north is still pushing towards Petrograd, although I think they are at this point probably a little bit overextended. But we do have to finish off the Russian defenders here. We've got the 2nd Panzer now attacking from the south. And with that, we should be able to get a 3rd division engaged. Might send 1 tank division around here. Okay. Once again, the Russians have held on, despite the fact that everybody is attacking them. And the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251 is done. Okay, we'll deal with that in a second. I just want to widen the front line a little bit further to make sure that we have sufficient breadth of front here, and we can get all the tank divisions involved in destroying these encircled Russians here. All right, I think we will take a breather here now. The Ukrainian advance has almost reached its designated area. We are outrunning our supply lines at this point. And I think the von Leeb's northern advance, with von Leeb injured, I think we will stop the advance for now. And he has made some progress, but not as much as envisioned. The southern advance has been much more successful. So von Leeb is going to wait first. We have destroyed the Russian troops near Kursk after a fierce fight. They have lost 180,000, around about 180 to 200,000 men have been either killed or gone into captivity. So now I think at this point we can let everybody reorganize, and the Ukrainians are, now that they finally have some German support in their general assaults, furiously attacking with complete disregard for the lives of their men. But we are no longer going to. We're going to reposition ourselves now for the advance towards Moscow as part of Unternehmen Friedrich. Overall, the Russian progress towards capitulation is still nowhere near sufficient. Russia still has strategic depth, and more fighting is going to be needed. However, if we can manage to deal a blow to Finland, and it looks like Sweden is making some progress in that regard, then that would be pretty good as well. But we are going to need reinforcements. However, many things have happened, so we've got a lot of administrative things to go through, and then I think I'll end the episode there after the successes that we've had, and we might focus on, or maybe we'll run a little bit of a North Africa operation still. But first, let's go through the things that are in needing of attention. All right, research. We are running a little behind on infantry tech, so I think that is definitely, this is still ahead of time. Yeah, let's get that done. And yes, we are going to use Mauser for that. And we have Opel has another point. I don't know if there's much more. This is for mechanized, plus 6% defense. Landmine racks would be not a bad thing. Reliability is good, leads to, this is truck motorized rocket artillery, okay, or, okay, it's both trucks and motorized rocket artillery. Okay, so this tree we can pretty much ignore, which means I think this is a good one to take, but we're not going to upgrade the actual, does Opel have? Yes, mechanical genius. We're not going to upgrade the production because we are going to take the, where is the production line? For the mechanized equipment. Where's the Sonderkraftfahrzeug? Schwimmpanzer. It's got to be somewhere here. Aircraft. Oh, there it is. Okay, Sonderkraftfahrzeug is going to be replaced with the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251. And obviously using Opel. And I think that needs Opel's bonuses still applied. We can still do more, but I don't have the army experience to do that here, so save that. And then we just need to replace the production line again. And we've got the Sonderkraftfahrzeug 251. Ah, there we go. Okay. Interestingly, we can actually refit some of the existing ones, but I have other plans. First of all, however, we need to sort out the trade situation. We are potentially trading too much aluminium here. Can we reduce the amount of aluminium we trade with France? Yes, we can. I think rubber, yeah, we'll just stop importing rubber from Middle Africa. We don't need it. We do, however, need chromium. So we are importing from Germany, East Asia, actually. I think importing from Sweden might be the better choice here. So, because that is using a lot of convoys. However, Germany, East Asia does need the economy as well. So Sweden will send us additional chromium. Oh, there we go. Okay, Sweden can send us additional chromium without trouble. Middle Africa doesn't have enough, and nobody else does. So there we go, and that is fine as well. All right, trade's been reorganized. We have naval battles to review, where we keep losing submarines in the region here. I think it is time for the to remove this area and that area from the operations, because it's too dangerous there. And we are still waiting for the sneakier submarines to come in. We do have free dockyards. I think we've got a good number of convoys, so we can probably just build one more, and then we'll stop that production for now. But we do have some additional dockyards available. So we're building 2 Mars class, 2 Wotan class now. It's going to take until 1944, unfortunately, as well, simply because battleships take forever to build. But we do have two Graf Zeppelins building. We can get another line of the Type 10 submarines going potentially, and we might give these we'll give these their own group, and then they can start operating in the area. So let's get another line of the Type 10s. Is there anything updated? No. So let's get Type 10 submarines, and we were using Schichauwerke, yes. Type 10 submarines going. And we'll organize that such that these are at least below each other. And let's have a quick look if we have any of the Type 10s in... We don't have any of the Type 10s in reserve at this point. Do we have them in... we have them in operations already. Okay, so we'll take two of the type... We've got two Type 10s here. They are actually going to become their own fleet. Let's have a quick look if any of the Type 10s have been pressed into reserve service. There are a couple more. And then they can be backfilled. We're still sailing with Type 7s here as well. They can be backfilled from the regular reserves. We've got a couple of reserves here. They can stop exercising and they can be used to backfill. But that gives me a new Unterseebootflottille. Okay, so Dönitz's first Unterseebootflotte is taking care of the Eastern Atlantic, and we might send him to the Pacific at some point. The second Unterseebootflotte is going to be who do we have available? We've got a Frenchman, Admiral Lothar von Arnaud de la Perrière. He's a Seawolf, and alternatively we could send Bernhard Rogge, but he's less experienced, or Max Valentiner, who is a Seawolf as well and is more aggressive. I think he's the better choice. Yeah, we will take him and we will give him the Silent Hunter trait, and we got the loading drill master. How much do we have? 30. Loading drill master and the torpedo expert. Okay. And he is going to take care of the long range group, who is going to be on convoy raiding in contested waters, and we will see how that turns out. So obviously, maybe we'll only give him the Demerara plane for now. Alternatively, given that we actually know that the enemy fleet is operating there, we might as well just give him the U.S. Eastern Seaboard and see if we can intercept some shipping there. So that group obviously is going to have to be a Unterseebootflottille. And we do have to ensure that we get the right kind of submarine in there. So I will have to probably give these a different equipment tag. Okay, so that's a new group, and we'll see if they are more successful. We have naval battles that we need to review. That's another Canadian destroyer group that has been sunk. And I think that was the only other one was a convoy. Was a convoy action and convoy action here. Okay, everyone's been pretty successful so far. We are going to need to change around. We're not going to need to change our research focus. So I think Max Planck. Do we have somebody who is more focused on nuclear? Yeah, the Uranverein, focusing on nuclear research. Is probably the better choice here, and I think that was the only one. Yeah, so we might change that around once we have 150 political power to do that, and we have free civilian factories which we can use to improve the infrastructure in Russia, such that we're not running out of supply. So I think that's probably where we can make ourselves useful here, and potentially in the north as well, and just to make sure that we have fixed the supply lines here and that we have sufficient supply between us and Helsinki. Other than that, we don't have an awful lot of construction at this point, so I'm not going to go convert just yet, but we've got nine extra factories. We can also just generally build up the infrastructure in the frontier regions, because that'll also help with supply issues. So that gives that helps our allies as well, and gives our gives our civilian industry something to do. So there we got that. All right, and then I think we are in a good position. We are waiting for the supply positions to be reconstituted and the supply lines to be updated. I think this. We haven't converted the railway yet, so I can't do anything here. But we might have to do something about the Eastern Russian railway positions, because they look they do not look good. So if we are to improve, we might as well get a start. We get a head start and start improving the railway connections here. Bryansk is severely damaged, so some repair work that we unfortunately can't participate in is also on order. All right. So while the situation in Russia comes to a slight calm, is hitting a slight calm, I think we'll have a very quick look at Port Moresby and see if we can make something happen here. So let's see if we can cut off the troops. See if we can isolate Port Moresby, and for that we'll launch the first assault here in the mountains north of it, and then from there we will attempt to move southwards and just surround and isolate Port Moresby. There is a naval invasion in Morocco ongoing by the looks of it. Okay, but I think our submarines are on top of that, so we don't have to worry about it too much. We can focus on the Port Moresby operation. Let's see if we can take Port Moresby, and that would be the culmination of the effort here and the staging towards an invasion of Australia, with the relatively limited amount of colonial troops that General Paulus has available to him. Once Russia is taken care of, we will have some more divisions available. But for now, that's kind of what we've got to work with. So if that's the hand von Paulus that's the hand Friedrich Paulus has been given, then that is the hand he will be dealing with. So we're pushing into the mountains north of Port Moresby, and I think we do need to pin the defenders in Port Moresby itself to ensure that we can make our way through. All right. Meanwhile, Raketenwerfer has been completed, and we can establish Peenemünde, which gives us some rocketry research bonuses, but that is for the future. We have 3 dockyards, which means we still got 3 dockyards. One dockyard. All right. So I'll just put that into convoys, because 1 dockyard isn't really worth anything, and it'll get used for repairs again very soon. So all right, we're waiting for additional troops to arrive and to launch the attack south of Port Moresby. However, we are going to first have to defend against the counterattack from the Australians. Okay, Australian counterattack has been defeated, which means we can now send. We'll leave the mountain divisions behind for now, but just to defend here. But we can launch the assault onto the defenders in the east. Unfortunately, that delay means that we potentially. Okay, we do need to defend here. That we potentially are. And we'll hold the Port Moresby still down, that we potentially are running late with the attack on Port Moresby itself. And the exhausted Wehrbezirkskommando is going to try and defend against a potential breakout from Port Moresby. But we are trying to. They've managed to break out, unfortunately. However, they have in their. The Australians have made a cardinal error here. In their eagerness to break out, they have left Port Moresby undefended, and that means we can potentially use the 2nd Infantry if we can manage to hold if we can manage to hold the enemy down north of Port Moresby, we can use the 2nd Infantry Division to take the port off them. And then they are, there we go. And then they are, we are vulnerable to counterattack, obviously, but then they are potentially running out of supplies here now. So now we can refocus our efforts towards the troops that are trying to return to Port Moresby, and with that, if we can secure that position, that means that we are in possession of the port. Now it just comes down to the exhausted 2nd Infantry Division here, which is a Dutch unit, and we will see if we can hold Port Moresby or not. The occupation requires more resources. Once again, I think this is the occupation of Denmark. However, if I am looking, there used to be a oh yeah, there it is. End the military occupation. Can't do that right now because neighbor countries are not at peace with Germany. Okay, I'm not sure which country this refers to, but I thought this might have ended the Danish occupation, because not everything else isn't technically occupied. So right now, once again, we need more resources, which costs me. Oh no, it's France and England actually. Okay, so we're losing war support, political power, 1,000 manpower, and have to send more troops to France and England. So it's the military government under von Bock, under von Falkenhorst, and so on, that is requiring these resources. All right, last thing we're going to do for today is to check out if we can design ourselves a better marine division. All right, we'll start with the Marine Sturmdivision. We'll duplicate this and this, and then we'll see how much XP we need. That might not be enough, but I'll check. So this would be a amphibious battalion. 35. Okay, and we are potentially, yeah, we're going to probably run 2 amphibious battalions and 1 Amtrak battalion. That would work. What is but 23 org is too low for my taste. So despite the fact that the armor is probably relatively good, 48, that is a bit low. So I think we will need to throw more Amtrucks in here. So right now we're at 31 combat width, 28 organization, still a bit on the low side. Remove 1. That's 29. I would like to have at least 30 org on these. I don't think we don't have an amphibious self-propelled artillery though. I wonder. No. So if this would be a where is this? This would be. They should be classified as. They should be able to classify that as an amphibious division of sorts, but I think there's no specific classifier for it. This is just a naming scheme. We don't actually have a marine classifier, so that would be that. Okay, we need 1 more army XP to make this happen. All right, so this is something that will come in the next episode, where we are going to get an improved marine division, and then we can refit those, and we might send them to Finland for now, just to help out a little bit. But alternatively, yeah, we don't have enough troops here. Von Mackensen is holding Helsinki, but that is not phasing the Finns. We can probably defeat the Russians here and destroy whatever infantry they have left in the Baltic duchies and liberate them. Ukraine is almost completely liberated. I think it's just this region here. And we actually have already Ukrainian troops breaking through Russian lines in the east. The Russians are spread thin, so far they haven't managed to reconstitute their armies. In the east, the Transamur Republic is kicking up more trouble, and China still hasn't moved against Japan, but they've fought each other to a standstill. So next episode, we'll resume the march to Moscow. We'll probably launch the attack on Algiers now that we have sufficient forces here. And we are potentially going to have to start moving the navy, because I think at this point, let's actually send 52 destroyers. Sheesh. Oh, that's the overall number. Yeah, no, that's so good. Let's get them repaired, and then we have to make a decision. Are we going to challenge the Americans or challenge the Japanese in the Asian theater? And I think if we are going to start launching naval invasions across the islands in the Pacific, then we will have to start challenging the Japanese. So let's send the first Schlachtgeschwader into repairs, and then they will be relocating east to reinforce the German troops and the German East Asian Navy, and we are going to start challenging the Japanese here. Question is that enough? I don't know, but we'll think about it. The alternative would be to clear the situation in the Atlantic first and then move into the Pacific. That's also an option. So if we can gain control over the Atlantic and then leave a token force behind, well, then we can focus both battle groups on the Pacific theater, which is also not a bad choice. So there are some severely damaged destroyers in here, so I think general repairs are probably in order for both of them. Let's send both of them for repairs, and then we'll pick that up. Anyway, that's it for me today. Thanks everybody, and I will see you in the next episode.